What are your 3 favorite memories we share?
3 favorite memories that we shared. I would say when you first told me you loved me, I think it hit me so hard because I had never like had that happen before. I was used to kind of being the one that kind of fell too quickly with women, and to have someone who like loved me, and I was kind of shook. But it was like I was low key like internally like, oh yeah. Another memory is Poconos. That was awesome just because it was one of the first times we kind of took an opportunity to go away on our own, felt kind of grown up. That whole weekend was just filled with laughs and joy, and it was one of those indicators and reminders like there's someone I could just like truly just be me. And like also this happens to be my partner. So that was cool. And then 3rd favorite memory, I think, of us. I don't know, we had various times in which we like stayed up and broke night. And I think it was actually when we first started talking. We stayed up and watched the sunset. We might have like been FaceTiming and then we lost track of time and realized it was like 7 in the morning. And we've been talking since like 10 p.m. that night.
I remember that.
I think I read you my mother's letter.
You did.
And it was one of those breakthroughs of, damn, I kind of trust her. I really trust her. Not kind of, I really trust her. And we kind of opened up that much more to each other that night. So that was one that I recall. So, what did you first think when I first brought up the past as a sort of addition or sort of marker into our relationship?
I was definitely taken aback. I think I was taken aback because classically men are possessive, or people are possessive, but men are very like, my woman is my woman. And so the first thing that struck me was, this is interesting. What do you mean a pass for me? I remember thinking, okay, because I'm not typically very trusting, you know. I was thinking, is this something that you want to get at? Is there something you want to get out of it that you're like trying to spin towards me? It also just felt uncomfortable to have so much focus put on me and like figure out what you want, go explore your desires. And I was like, I don't know how to. I don't know that I actually will do it. And I remember the parameters around it being more about exploring with women, because that's something that still gives me anxiety now. So like, I remember feeling anxious, confused a little bit, a little excited. Like, okay, what does this mean? But yeah, totally did not know how much it would mean beyond that. But those would be the first thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't really want to consult anybody because, like, as you said, sometimes people are possessive, and then it becomes like, why would you let that happen? But what it was for me, it was like, that's your friend at the end of the day. Like, we were partners, we were dating, but it was like, this is your friend. And if your friend desires a certain level of growth or potentially, like, explorative about it, don't silence that voice, because eventually it's going to clap back. And then it's going to clap back in a way you don't like. And so it's like, let's see where this person is. Because you talked about it, like, kind of like gestured around it long enough. Yeah. I was like maybe. And I think the hard part was kind of figuring out what that looks like. But it was like, yo, like, you're going to just give her the green light to kind of like do. And whatever that comes in the form of, but you also know your sort of own limitations. Like, you're not trying to hit every single like detail of like X, Y, and Z that happened, because that would hurt your feelings. The fear of doing it didn't stop me from doing it. Yeah. And then we kind of just springboarded from there.
I think fear was actually probably a pretty fair thing too. I think fear of our relationship changing and losing you. I think more so the fear about you going forth with other people wouldn't be, of course it was like a jealousy possessive thing, but I think it was more so that you would forge a new relationship with somebody else and then forget about me, even though
we did it 3 years.
Right. It was silly, but I think that was definitely like a irrational fear that was driving a lot of feelings behind that. Yeah.
And then I think also it was one of those like opportunities to explore me outside of Raheem and Gary.
Yeah.
Because I think just especially at Wesleyan and the bubble that it was, we were almost like a package deal. It was like, oh, like Raheem, like Gary shouldn't be too far behind. I'm like, yo, come on, like I loved you and I love you so much. But it was like, yo, like we are two separate people.
Right.
We not into the same things all the time. It used to be hikey, like not wanting to talk to people. I'm
Right.
like the social butterfly.
The social butterfly.
But what is Raheem going to do?
Yeah.
He has to get to know Raheem outside of the context of Raheem and Gary. So that's nourishing the social relationships. That's hanging out with different people and not having you around. Just to see if like these are legitimate friendships and relationships that would transcend Wesleyan, or is it dependent on us being together? So, when was the last time I disappointed you, and how do you feel about it now?
The last time you disappointed me. Thank you. How do I feel about it now? That's a good question. I feel tearful because I think of our relationship, especially towards the end, about how much I've disappointed you, that I don't really think about how you've disappointed me as much anymore. Like, I know you stressed me out in our relationship, and I knew I used to be mad all the time, but I don't. I feel like I weigh how much things were, and I feel like I've done so much more. So I don't really think about all the things that you could have done. Disappointed? Just like thinking about our senior year, I can't even think about a time when I was necessarily disappointed. Because even, I guess what I could say would be disappointed that you didn't want to entertain the conversation around polyamory. But at that point, it wasn't so much disappointment because, I mean, you know, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. I already pushed you all the way to the edge. And so it makes sense that, you know, the way that the conversation unfolded after that point happened as it did. So, I don't know. So, but how I feel about this now, about any disappointment, is just that I feel like I disappointed you a lot. Or I think my disappointment was such a grand disappointment about it regarding our friendship that I feel like I don't feel like I'm allowed to feel a way about anything else. And like it's also just drastically diminished the weight of everything else. Yeah.
It's like, you know, I think in some ways there were little things in which I probably did to disappoint you, like stop doing those little things, but it was also like we stopped spending as much time together too. Just like as we were about to go through this change in college graduation, it was like we were spending less and less time together, and we lived in the same apartment. So that was kind of like a trip, you know. Senior week, all you wanted to do was spend time with Nate, and I was like. And I think, you know, I would say I'm disappointed in myself for not just speaking up and calling that out for what it is. It's like, yo, wait, what? Like, we're not gonna be in the same state. You're moving to down south. I'm moving back home. We should wanna spend time together. And I think I'm disappointed in myself at times for not speaking up and vocalizing that.
What do you think I am hesitant to tell you?
Just process that.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't miss out on any new conversation by subscribing to our newsletter. And if you want to support us and you want to bring this kind of discussion home, you should definitely check out our website at theskindeep.com/shop. Thank you very much.